In the summer of 1882, a notorious outlaw named Luke Reckless, Ryan found himself trapped in Devil's Canyon, a place as dangerous as its name suggested. He had been on the run for weeks, his gang scattered after a failed bank heist in Tombstone. The law was closing in, and the canyon was his last refuge. Devil's Canyon was a maze of narrow paths, sheer cliffs, and treacherous terrain. Few who entered ever came out, and those who did spoke of it with a mix of fear and reverence. But Luke had no choice. He either faced the canyon or the noose. For days, Luke wandered the canyon, his every move shadowed by the relentless heat and the ever-present danger of a fall. He had no food, little water, and the constant fear that the lawmen were right behind him. The canyon played tricks on his mind, the echoes of his footsteps returning to him like the ghosts of those he had wronged. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Luke heard a sound that stopped him in his tracks, the faint trickle of water. He followed the sound, his heart pounding with hope. He found a small spring, hidden in a crevice, its water cool and clear. It was salvation, but it was also a trap. The spring was surrounded by steep cliffs, with no easy way out. If the lawmen found him here, he would be cornered. But Luke had been in tight spots before. He drank deeply from the spring, filled his canteen, and then began to search for a way out. As the night fell, he realized that the only way out was up, a narrow, crumbling path that wound its way up the cliffside. The climb was brutal, the rocks were loose, and the path was barely wide enough for a foot. One wrong step would send him plummeting to his death. But Luke was determined. He had come too far to give up now. He clawed his way up, his muscles screaming in protest, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He didn't dare look down. Halfway up, the ground beneath his foot gave way, and he slid, desperately grasping at the rocks to stop his fall. His hands were bloodied, and his heart raced, but he held on. Inch by inch, he pulled himself back onto the path, his resolve hardening with every near-fatal slip. By the time Luke reached the top, the first light of dawn was breaking over the canyon. He was battered, bruised, and barely able to stand, but he was alive. Below him, the canyon stretched out like a labyrinth of stone, a graveyard for those less fortunate than him. As he staggered away from the edge, Luke knew that the law would still be hunting him. But he also knew that he had survived what should have been impossible. Devil's Canyon had tested him, and though he was scarred, he was not broken. He would go on, driven by the same reckless spirit that had earned him his name, but now tempered by the knowledge that even the most dangerous places could not claim him. Luke Reckless, Ryan disappeared into the wilderness that day, leaving behind the canyon and the life that had led him there. Some say he found redemption. Others say he found a new kind of freedom. But those who knew him knew one thing for sure. Devil's Canyon had not been his end, but his beginning.